Colorado, the man, not the place, and with National Pro Wrestling Day right around the corner, February 2nd, 2013, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we are going to present a very special match. It's going to be Chris Dickinson teaming with Eric Corvis against TJ Marconi and Darius Carter. No love lost between all four of these individuals, but we've seen TJ Marconi doing his best to try and get one over on Chris Dickinson ever since Dickinson made his return to professional wrestling, doing so at the expense of TJ Marconi, taking away that special moment when he defeated his partner tonight, Darius Carter, in a last man standing match. Of course, Darius Carter and TJ Marconi used to comprise the team known as the Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Chris Dickinson and Eric Corvis, these two individuals have never gotten along. But Eric Corvis and Chris Dickinson selected to represent Beyond Wrestling at National Pro Wrestling Day. I mean, arguably the two individuals responsible more so than anybody else for putting Beyond Wrestling on the map. They're going to be going up against the KOA. So all four of these men, I mean, none of them get along, but with TJ Marconi and Darius Carter, I mean, this could be an opportunity to prove that perhaps they deserve to be in the spotlight at National Pro Wrestling Day. Again, 25 different promotions coming together for a super stacked double card. That iPay-per-view is going to be available thanks to our friends at SmartMark Video, smvod.com. $10 for each show or $15 for the whole day. You can't beat that deal. If you can make it down to Philadelphia, you might as well come to the show. It's free to attend. Right here, Chris Dickinson and Darius Carter tying up. Not the first time that they've been in a ring together at Beyond Wrestling. Going back to the main event of the Gospel of the Boards. A show taped for iPay-per-view distribution in February of 2010. And these two went back and forth for over 30 minutes. Darius Carter, somebody who honestly has probably underachieved when it comes to Beyond Wrestling. And you've got to wonder if perhaps cutting short his partnership with TJ Marconi is the cause for that, but certainly a very sound technical wrestler. I mean, just riding Dickinson right here, but Dickinson with so much power, basically just outmatching Carter at every turn. Carter able to find that separation, and Dickinson not charging in. Neither one of these individuals wants to make that first mistake. Carter can back up to his feet, and Dickinson's going to let him have a free shot. We're going to see if Carter's going to be going for this amateur-style hold. Instead, just stomping away at the hand of Chris Dickinson. And Dickinson getting up and slapping Carter in the face. And now using those massive legs to just keep Carter in place, slapping him in the back of the head. The last thing that you want to do is piss off Chris Dickinson. We saw him shred a kendo stick over the head of TJ Marconi after he was able to defeat Darius Carter in a last man standing match at All Aboard. Give Carter credit holding his own right here. Able to roll into a different position, maintain contact and control of Dickinson's leg at all times. Of course, you're going to think that Darius Carter is going to be trying to target that left knee of Chris Dickinson, which he blew out competing for WXW, promotion based out of Germany, but they had an event at the Ace Arena in New Jersey. That knee injury sidelining Dickinson for over a year. He was supposed to tour Europe that summer. And Eric Corvis, the former Corvis Fear, does not seem too impressed by the proceedings, instead referring to that book of tricks that he's brought with him to the ring. Of course, Corvis Fear, he's had a number of run-ins with both members of the KOA. I mean, since coming back to Beyond Wrestling, I mean, he's had a hard time finding his place. At one point, really, Corvis was the gatekeeper for Beyond Wrestling, but seems to be resentful of the fact that competitors like Aaron Epic and Sugar Dunkerton have basically leapfrogged his progress. And Dickinson just jamming up the legs of Darius Carter, snapping back with all of his body's weight. But Carter, give him credit, able to take the big man down to the mat. And so far, some great back and forth action. Darius Carter is going to be trying to get the hands of Chris Dickinson, perhaps pull him in that surfboard. Instead, going for the face, risking disqualification, and again, only serving to make Dickinson angrier. Dickinson's not the type of guy that makes mistakes when he gets mad. It's what motivates him. Now finally able to get control of that arm, but switching up his game plan and just double stomping the small of the back. If he can tighten up some of those muscles in the back, it's going to take away some of Dickinson's power game. And there you see, unable to block that headlock takeover attempt. But again, using those sizable legs. Trying to pop off the head of Darius Carter. Carter trying to bridge out. Dickinson, I mean, you can just tell the level of control that he has over his opponent right here. Surprised to see him show mercy. And Carter is out and drop kicking Dickinson right in the midsection. But Dickinson rolling through and taking Carter down with that suplex. Dickinson just staring down Carter, asking him if that's all he's got. I mean, again, Carter very impressive going toe-to-toe, but you just can't match power with Chris Dickinson, although if there's anybody on the Beyond Wrestling roster that can, it's TJ Marconi. These two competitors sizing each other up. And Dickinson is not rushing into this one. These two had a knockdown, drag-out brawl at one of the all-killer tapings back in November of 2012. A match that we will be posting soon enough here at youtube.com/beyondwrestling. And it seems like the rivalry between Dickinson and Marconi is only heating up. But Dickinson, I mean, he's taking his time right here. He doesn't want to get in the ring with Marconi. Instead, allowing his fresh partner, I can't even believe I'm saying that, his partner, Eric Corvis, Chris Dickinson and Eric Corvis teammate. But again, what both of these guys have given to Beyond Wrestling, I mean, they haven't gotten out. National Pro Wrestling Day is going to be that spotlight. Although again, they cannot overlook this opportunity right here. Having to knock off the lifestyles of the rich and famous, TJ Marconi and Darius Carter. All four of these guys very reluctant to work with one another, but with so much at stake, I mean, they really don't have much of a choice. Here we see Corvis employing that very unconventional style of wrestling. Marconi, though, trying to find that separation, and once again, the Corvis is out of the way. Corvis gets sent to the ropes one more time. Gets shrugged off. Sidesteps the kick from Marconi. Missing with that clothesline, just sent sternum first into that top buckle. Marconi, a very underrated striker. Another competitor that has been with Beyond Wrestling almost since the very start. Corvis countering that Beal, landing on his feet, going for the throw to Marconi, and again. Now planting the head, hard to tell if that's the jaw or the throat once again. Kicking him in the midsection, and now in the face. This is with that enziguri, and the strength of Marconi pulling Corvis back up to his feet. Getting rattled with a few elbows. Corvis unable to tag out. And now look at the strength of Corvis, popping Marconi up and taking him down with that elevated style German suplex. Marconi may be out. And Corvis not even showing his partner Dickinson the respect to tag him in with his hand. And now this is when Dickinson is at his most dangerous. A kick to the face of TJ Marconi. He's not looking to beat him. He wants to put him on the shelf for once and for all. Just like Dickinson had lost a considerable amount of time in the ring, Marconi was out for almost 9 months after having back surgery to remove bone spurs from his spine. Dickinson, knowing that, you're going to think is going to be looking to target the back. Marconi smart so far to be able to protect it. And look at the strength of Marconi, muscling Dickinson up. But that could have been, I don't know, a mistake, bringing him over to his own corner because Carter tagged himself in. I think Marconi a little bit surprised, but perhaps it was almost out of instinct, going for one of the old combinations of the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Marconi certainly wanted to get his hands on Chris Dickinson, but it's going to be his partner, his former partner, his current partner, Darius Carter. But Carter not having any luck. And once again making Chris Dickinson angry. Just channeling that rage, turning it into violence, and beating the snot out of Darius Carter. That's one thing that I must say. Chris Dickinson, as frequently as he loses his cool, has certainly been doing a better job of controlling that anger, or at least channeling it, since he came back to Beyond Wrestling. Darius Carter once again with the upper hand. And Chris Dickinson, he didn't even have to shift the momentum of his body, just powering Carter off the mat, freeing up that shoulder. Now Darius Carter going for that waist lock, perhaps looking for a German suplex. Dickinson fighting Carter off. A series of elbows. Looks like Corvis was able to make that blind tag, sent into the elbow of Corvis. And Dickinson with that release suplex, Corvis catching Carter in the neck breaker. Double impact. And you gotta think that that's something they might have practiced once or twice. Could Corvis and Dickinson really be on the same page? I mean, both of these guys living in, Chris Dickinson, Staten Island. Corvis living in northern New Jersey. It's not impossible that they could have got together. Perhaps they've been training going into National Pro Wrestling Day, and I mean, they're going to need to be on the same page, especially going up against Aaron Epic and Sugar Dunkerton. I mean, the KOA, they've won tag team championships in IPW. They've won tag team championships in Resistance Pro. I don't know if they have that same mean streak. They certainly have the heart. But I don't know if they have the drive and the determination as Corvis and Dickinson. In some ways, the KOA have already made it to the top, something that Dickinson and Corvis have never done. And now Corvis with Carter all tied up. And just spinning him in a position to wear him down. He's got the arms bent behind the back. The neck is being folded up. The legs are hooked. And this might be a submission predicament. When we see Dickinson interjecting himself. And Corvis deciding instead, going for a pin. But he made the mistake of being too close to the ropes. Of course, Eric Corvis, a tag team specialist for most of his career. We've seen him with a number of different partners here in Beyond Wrestling since he's come back. He teamed with Johnny Mangway to go up against what he thought was going to be the Pit Boss and Robbie Roller, instead being Matthew Justice. There we see him just swatting away Darius Carter. Now just trying to go Carter in. Carter able to counter. Corvis hung up on that second rope. And Carter not missing that time with the enziguri. Corvis finally collapsing to the mat. Darius Carter might have him beat right here with that knockout. Surprised that Dickinson didn't rush in to try and break that up. Almost looks like Dickinson is scolding Corvis. I mean, some sort of communication between these two right here. Looks like the plan was thwarted. The referee doing his job, making sure that Dickinson isn't interfering. Carter just stomping away in the face of Corvis. I've got to say, I mean, Carter and Marconi, they have not worked together that much in this match. But it almost seems like the miscommunication between Dickinson and Corvis working against them. But that time, Dickinson just powering through the referee. Now trying to escape the clutches of TJ Marconi. But they're fighting on the floor. And this is the type of match you need to assign more than one official for. I mean, illegally using that garbage can lid. Oh, it just blasted Marconi. The referee, with his attention, what's going on in the ring right here. Carter taking down with that backbreaker, spun in position. Corvis holding on and just running through with that knee strike. Meanwhile, on the outside, Dickinson and Marconi trading bombs. And it looks like Dickinson taking that book that Corvis brought to ringside and just smashing Marconi over the head. Trying to get a better perspective of the things right here. Corvis looking for some signature offense, that dive onto the back of Carter, but he looks like he got caught by Marconi. And again, the powerful legs of Chris Dickinson coming into play, kicking Corvis on top of Marconi, and Marconi falling down in that surgically repaired back. He's lucky that there's an inch of padding out there. Who knows what the results could have been. And Dickinson just stomping him in the head. And the team of Corvis and Dickinson back in control. The lifeless body of Carter barely kicking out. What does Corvis have in mind right here? Again, so innovative, just the way that he imploded with all of his body's weight. So much more momentum, so much more effective than your standard senton. But Corvis is taking his time right here. Now grabbing Carter. He had his opponent down to the mat. That could have been a mistake. Carter catching Corvis in the midsection with a headbutt. But comes charging and gets caught on the shoulders. able to slip out, land on his feet. And now it's Dickinson tagging himself in. Corvis and Carter struggling for position, but there's no way that Carter is going to be able to match the strength of Dickinson and Corvis. And now just taking down into that Falcon Arrow. Dickinson hooking the leg. Carter's on it too. I mean, none of these guys are particularly likable. Marconi, probably the biggest fan favorite of the bunch. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dickinson has his own following of his special fans. What's Dickinson doing right here? Oh, just deadlifting his opponent off the mat and just powerbombing Darius Carter into oblivion. With maneuvers like that, it's no wonder that Chris Dickinson has been able to amass such a cult following. Instead of going for the pin, looking to torture his opponent. If this is what the KOA is going to be faced up against with at National Pro Wrestling Day, they may be in trouble. But you've got to think that it's going to be the teamwork that's going to work to their advantage. But then again, like I've said, Eric Corvis has been in the ring with Epic and Sugar Dunkerton a number of times over the last couple months with different partners. He teamed up with Mike Quest to defeat the duo at All Aboard. That was really when we saw Corvis' true colors. He was scheduled for a singles contest with Aaron Epic. We saw his former partner in the Garden State Gods, Mike Quest, jump through the crowd and attack Aaron Epic, setting up a tag match for later in that evening. And the Garden State Gods were victorious over the KOA. So we got a lot on the line going into the tag match at National Pro Wrestling Day. The KOA, Dickinson, and Corvis are going to be doing their best to represent Beyond Wrestling. But again, perhaps they've overlooked their opponents right here. Darius Carter making a comeback. And not only connecting with that senton on Corvis, but the foreclosure facebuster onto Dickinson. Take another look at that, driving his knees into the face of Dickinson and his body's weight on top of Corvis. And here comes the fresher TJ Marconi. Marconi just knocking down everything in sight. He's got Dickinson and Corvis hooked up. And a double rock bottom. Marconi, though, making a mistake right here. He's got both of his opponents down. He should be going for the pin. But then again, I mean, that is really the X factor that he has in his corner. It's the support of all the other wrestlers by ringside. But taking too much time. As a result, running into that boot, not able to connect with the elbow. Picking up Dickinson, Dickinson with the counter, and taking Marconi down with that cutter. And the shining variation from Corvis. Darius Carter with a low bridge, Corvis splat on the floor. Marconi and Dickinson going nose to nose. And it was bound to break down, as we saw them fighting on the floor just a few moments ago. Marconi able to block the punch, going for that choke slam, sitting out that All Impact, but leaves himself in position from the splash for Corvis. Able to catch the leg of Darius Carter, but Carter has that Sandmere driver scouted. And just dumping Corvis, folding him up like an accordion. Take a look at the impact, such a high angle. I mean, that could be a knockout blow. But Carter, not the legal man, trying to bring over Marconi. Instead of pulling Marconi on his opponent to get the pin, Carter tagging himself in. But it could be too much time wasted. And Dickinson close to the ropes. I mean, you can't blame Carter for not wanting to waste more time. But he should have been trying to drag Dickinson into the center of the ring. And I think Marconi's trying to do this on his own. Again, with the bad blood between all of these individuals. I mean, the personal animosity certainly overshining what should be the teamwork. Marconi struggling to get his straps down. I mean, he's not the legal man. And Carter sneaking in to pick up that win. But Dickinson kicking out again. And it looks like Marconi and Carter, I mean, these guys are definitely not on the same page. If they weren't going to be able to work together, they should have agreed to the match, to be honest with you. Oh! Corvis just putting the boot of Marconi in Carter's face. Now spin him into position in that springboard ace crusher. Marconi going to the floor, perhaps to recover. Carter just catching Corvis with that boot. Marconi hung up on the ropes. He might not be a factor in this matchup anymore. And now Darius Carter is going to be looking for Chris Dickinson's signature maneuver, the Brain Eater. Carter taunting all the other wrestlers around ringside. I don't think he's strong enough. He can't get it. He can't get that maneuver on him. The hip toss counter now stepping over, and it's Dickinson who's going to be looking for that brain eater. Oh, and Corvis just riding him down with that foot. That's it. 1, 2, 3. And Chris Dickinson and Eric Corvis are victorious here. And again, they've got the momentum going into National Pro Wrestling Day. Of course, Sugar Dunkerton here to witness this all firsthand. Aaron Epic not in attendance at the tapings this weekend. And it does not look like Corvis and Dickinson. I mean, they've got to be happy that they picked up the victory, but they're not looking to celebrate with one another. More so, it just seems like they're content to prove a point. And now looking to address all the other wrestlers around ringside. Oh no, talking to Sugar Dunkerton.
And you pay attention to the team that's gonna whip the shit out of you and Aaron Epic at National Pro Wrestling.
Ain't going down like that. You driving all the way to Philadelphia to get your ass embarrassed on pay-per-view.
Well, Dickinson doesn't want to hear any more of the trash talking. And Marconi looks like he's going to be an ally now with Sugar Dunkerton to try and fight off Corvis and Dickinson. And things are just gotten absolutely out of control right here. Again, you're going to want to be at National Pro Wrestling Day, February 2nd, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.